Alright guys, thanks for joining me again. My channel here is mostly about family. Okay, I do talk about abortion. I am extremely pro-life because if I wasn't pro-life, I wouldn't have a family, right? I would have killed all my 5 kids and I would be a single, probably bitter woman for killing all my kids. I don't know. Um, so guys, okay, I've got Kevin Leandro who likes to start trouble. He lied about me in court. If you watch my videos, he is a major loser because he ain't a man. A man doesn't body shame other women. Okay, most men know that. So, I don't know what size Kevin Leandro thinks I should be, but it really doesn't matter. He has no influence really in my life. He really doesn't. He likes to try to be a part of my life. He just 2 days ago made another comment about me. He's not part of my inner circle at all. So, so ladies, what kind of world are we living in? Honestly, I was watching, I've never seen Basic Instinct. I was looking to watch that last night with Sharon Stone, but I kept getting like Basic Instinct 2. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch Sylvester Stallone instead. So I started that movie for free on an app. And so far, so good. So far, it's interesting, but I got tired and I'm like, I'm going to watch this another time. But what kind of world are we living in? Now, Sharon Stone, I'm not real familiar with her, but she has talked about, that sexy scene she did, which I haven't even exactly seen, but she says, she's gotten years of persecution for crossing her legs the way she did with supposedly no underwear on. And she talks about the generational curses she has endured because women's sexual autonomy has been, what's the word? It hasn't been challenged, okay? So when we talk about a woman's sexual autonomy, first of all, that should be in marriage, all right? But we have a lot of feminists who are saying, I can act like a man if I want. If I want to go around showing off my sexual prowlness or whatever, I can do that. Years ago, I was reading something that said years ago, most women were the ones who protected not only themselves sexually, but they also protected other men. And they were the ones in charge, so to say, of the sexual relationship not becoming lust or not, taking the blame, so to say, for any man lusting after you. I don't think that's totally biblical. I have heard sermons where men are like, women, you should dress like totally covered so a man doesn't look at your ankles and lust after you. I think that's ridiculous. There's a modesty channel I was watching where a woman is like, women have to make sure they're completely covered, like a blanket, guys, like no curves showing. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. Since Wonder Woman, and I'm a big fan of hers, since Wonder Woman days, women have, pretty much not really cared too much about what they wear. I think it matters as far as your conscience. If you yourself feel like modesty to you is, having your ankles covered, that's up to you. I believe modesty is covering your private parts. I really do. And we see, and I even have videos here where I'm wearing a two-piece. My very privates are covered, but we're living in a culture where women pretty much wear anything, and men, we have been desensitized to a point, but this is the way the culture is. If you go to Hawaii, that is the way the culture is, okay? And for a man not to lust, I think it's mostly on him. Jesus talks about this. He has to be the one to, not lust after a woman in his heart. So you can have, a woman totally covered. She could, I had a beautiful Aunt Kim who people said, geez, you could be bald and you would still be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You can have women totally covered from head to foot and a man can still lust. So you have other men who, they can see the crap out there, the porn and everything, and they're like, I am not interested. I've been through this with porn and I've seen it and I've seen it all, and it doesn't attract me anymore, right? It really is depending on a man. And then you have a woman who she can wear nothing. We've seen art where women can wear nothing and it's not attractive. It's just like the body, National Geographic, right? Or you can have a woman who wears everything on her and she is pretty attractive. So it just depends, guys, on so much. And I think, this is why we have a brain. God gave us a brain and he wants us to use it. Are you around a man who, is struggling? Should you be wearing that? If you're around your brother, right? And your brother is like, you can wear anything because it's your brother, right? I mean, what are we doing? You can have a woman totally covered and in her heart, she can just be very different in her heart than a woman whose heart is totally different and she doesn't have much on. So I think we need to be very careful, guys, about making it so black and white, okay? So, like I said, let me go back to Sharon Stone. So I was watching just some of the things she was saying. I don't know what kind of world we're living in. Women seem to be very displaced. They don't know where they belong anymore. She's like, well, now that we have sexual liberty, right? She's just like all for sexual liberty. It's not liberty, ladies. And I'm not even talking about dress right now. I'm talking about women have gone the opposite way, where they're like, I can sleep with whoever I want. I can do whatever I want. And I'm okay with it. And if I want an abortion, then I can just abort. That is birth control, right? That's how they feel. This is dangerous, guys, because it takes the roles of men and women totally different. Should men be out there crawling around sleeping with everybody they want? No. I've seen men addicted to women, addicted to alcohol, men who are addicted to women. It's not a good thing, okay? So ideally, a man should be in love with a woman. He should marry her not because of how she totally looks on the outside, okay, even though beauty attracts, but because he loves her. And a woman should be with a man because she loves him, not how much money he makes, not everything he does, because he will fail, but she should love him for who he is. And so when we see that ideal relationship and we see people on the outside like Kevin Leandro trying to destroy me, or we see other people on the outside with the woman's agenda, like let's just throw off everything and do whatever we want and have a sexual revolution from when it started in the 70s, okay? That is not freedom for women. That is actually bondage. And where I have dated like a bunch of different guys when I was growing up, I can tell you it is so crushing. It is ideally always one man and one woman. And yeah, at the time you're like, oh, look at all these guys validating me and look at how beautiful I am and all this stuff. But it's a worldly philosophy, guys. It is truly worldly. And what you want is you want the pure, genuine love of a man. That's what you want, okay? And as a girl, you don't know what you don't know. You have different guys you're dating. You are experimenting. I think there is a time for that, to date different guys and be like, well, I'm just trying to learn. I'm just trying to figure out what guys are all about. I think that's normal, but in the end, you marry for love, right? And you don't use your body to be a Sharon Stone. You use your body for your husband. That's what your body's for, right? It's for him. It's to bring pleasure to him and only you, because you have a sacred relationship. And then you use your body to have kids. You build your family. You build your next generation. So we are seeing all these different views of how women should act. Should they be in the workplace? Should they be with different men? Should they, and it's like women have lost their identity in society. So we need good women to rise up. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but we need a lot of good women to rise up and say, this is the path I used to take, and this is the path I take now as a Christian woman. And we need godly examples of women who have chosen to live a life to one man, okay? Now, my husband left. What does that mean for me? It means I'm still in love with him. I'm probably never going to love a man like I loved my husband. That's probably the truth. I can't even picture, honestly, being with another man because we had built so much together and we had built so strong. So I really cannot picture being with another man. I just can't. And it's kind of disgusting, I think. Ugh, another guy, gross. So anyways, we need women who are strong, women who know their roles. They know once you're married, you pretty much commit once you're married. As a Christian woman, you become saved, you marry, you have kids, you raise your family. Hopefully you have grandkids. And you can do all kinds of stuff on the side. You can have fun working. You can have a career later. You can do what you want. Take care of yourself. Teach other women a good, what's the word? Not thread. I'm trying to think of a word. When your life is like woven in a certain way. It's okay to take care of yourself. I mean, I had a grandmother who was beautiful. But unfortunately, there were a lot of other men around, from big bands, black men, all kinds of men around. And unfortunately, I did not get that from my grandmother. Although I loved my grandmother and I did get a lot of good from her, it was from teaching myself with churches and other people a good role model, good mentors I had. So this is what we want to do, guys. We don't want to believe the new wave of feminism or the feminism from the 70s. We want to be biblical, not a feminist. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys.